Okay, so to repeat, from the event calendar is a link to this Google Doc, um, Tech Pack, or Tech Tools Pack 1 through 7. Today is pack number 7. So if you get in here, these are just bookmarks within the documents. If you click on pack number 7, you'll get a cheat sheet of the tools that we're going to be looking at. Spoiler alert. All of these tools that we're going to look at are ways to make you more productive as a Quest creator in 3D Game Lab, or to do your own thing in the classroom. But it's really a focus on, okay, once you get out of the teacher camp and you start using 3D Game Lab in your own classroom, how are you going to stay productive? Because if you don't stay productive, you will probably find other things to do. When you're creating your Quest, you're often going to be using screenshots. Okay, I found this awesome tool called GreenShot, greenshot.org, or getgreenshot.org, I'm sorry. And they have some screenshots of what the tool does, but I'm just going to show you. You wonder what they use to take these screenshots of the GreenShot program. If you look down here in the bottom right of my screen, I have a little G here in all these options. I'm just going to hit the print screen button. I'm going to go to my desktop a little bit. I'm going to hit the print screen button. I get the crosshairs. If you're a Mac user, you know what these are. Now I can just drag a picture of my with the crosshairs, and it takes a screenshot, brings it up into this image editor, which is awesome. It captures the mouse cursor even as a separate little PNG that you can enlarge, move around, do whatever. But let's say I want to take a whole series of screenshots, and I don't want to have to open up that stupid editor every time. You can go to Quick Preferences, Screenshot Destination, and turn off the Open in Image Editor. Now, if I hit print screen and I drag a box here, print screen, drag a box there, print screen, drag a box here, it just took those snapshots and put them all on my desktop over here. Very quick, very efficient. You don't have to jump into the screenshot editor. One other part I wanted to show you about the editor, though, it looks like Microsoft Paint, but it actually has a couple of neat little tools. I'm going to do another trick, Alt Print Screen, which takes a screenshot. I need to change my preferences so it opens back up in the image editor. Alt Print Screen. Let's try that again. Alt Print Screen. There we go. Alt Print Screen takes a picture of the current active window. Again, there's the mouse cursor. Let's say this word pictures was one of my passwords and I'm doing a tutorial on something. There's an obfuscate tool, which is neat. You can drag a box around something and it pixelizes it for you. You can even determine how little or great the pixelization is. There's little arrows that you can draw attention to things, increasing, decreasing, and of course a text tool, some text that you can make larger and smaller and lots of stuff. Quick, this is the fastest way on a PC I've ever found to be able to create screen capture tutorial type images, complete with obfuscation, text, arrows, etc., etc. Love GreenShot. I just found it a couple of weeks ago, and I've been using it for all of my Game Lab quests. Anybody have any questions so far before I jump ahead?
Mark, for Macs, do you use Grab?
The Mac, I actually put that in the, let me go back. If you go to that Google Doc that I linked in the chat, I was hoping someone would ask that, so it justified my looking this up. It's been a while since I've had a Mac. Under GreenShot, it says Macs already do this, and the words do this is a link to a WikiHow, and it's like Command-Shift-4 is the cursor shortcut. So if you're on a Mac, hit Command-Shift-4 real quick, and it'll bring up those cursors, and it does the same thing. Why Windows hasn't figured this out yet, I don't know. They use Snippet, which, come on, that doesn't do the same thing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Moving on. Edmodo. Okay, how many of you guys use Edmodo or have tried it before?
Don't know anything.
Okay. So there's a lot of great lesson plans out there about using Facebook at school, et cetera, et cetera. Well, as we know, it's a nightmare to use in the classroom, especially anything less than higher education, you know, elementary, middle, high school. Well, Edmodo is sort of a sandboxed Facebook. And what I mean by sandboxed is it is completely isolated, as private as you want it to be, and you control and track everything. Okay, it's not, nobody can get in except for your students. So on my screen, I have logged into my Edmodo account, my Garlic Suitor one, and you can see it kind of has a little Facebook look to it. So some of the ideas that I've read recently, and like my wife is using this ideas, she's using Hunger Games to teach language arts, and each one of the students has to play the role of one of the characters from the book, and then every day they have to post a status update. They have prompts, et cetera, et cetera. So in here I would create groups, and I'm the teacher. I could play the role of one of the characters too, and I could say question here, whatever. And my different classes, let's say that would be the Tech 102 class, I would only, my students from that class would be the only ones to be able to see it. So I wouldn't use this to replace a course management because it's not quite that feature rich. But you do actually have the ability to create quizzes. I go home. Quizzes, polls. The quizzes are, you know, gradable, multiple choice type quizzes. So there are some cool things you can do with it, but it's a great thing for, you know, emulating a Facebook social interaction with your students. So that it's very private then. Let's see. Okay, so once you're using 3D Game Lab in your classroom, your students are going to need to create avatars. So I picked out 4 of my favorites that I haven't covered yet. There's actually some in Pack 1 if you go up and look up there. There's Hero, Creator, etc. But I got these. I have to give credit to the Level Up Book Club. It's basically a online book club. They like to read about gamification, and they have little fun challenges and stuff. And so I got these from there. This is actually Lincoln Park sponsored, so careful with that, but there's nothing really bad on this website itself, but little 8-bit dudes picking your head and et cetera, pick some eyes, hair, awesome, blah, 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 next. Hit save, and it comes up as a JPEG. So it's a quick, easy way to make simple little 8-bit. If you're not familiar with the term 8-bit, it's the term for the graphics level of the old Nintendo games. Basically, anything 8-bit is going to be pixelated and old school video game looking, which kids kind of like actually still. So you can save this file as a JPEG, and done. So if you just want to make it a quick activity, that's a good one. This 8-bit me wants to tie itself to Twitter. Okay, you can see this little block message here. That's I'm at school right now in my classroom, so you can see that that is actually blocked. But if you try to create one on here, it will ask you to join the game, create a character. So if you're doing stuff with Twitter already, this is an excellent option. It's actually kind of a little gamification of checking into different spots like Foursquare is, if you're familiar with that. So it's actually a game itself. But you could just create the character and then screenshot the characters to save it. It's a little more work, but it's a different look. DoppelMe, this one you don't even actually need an account to create stuff, but if you do create an account, you get more options on hats and clothes and hair, etc., etc. But I'm just going to show you what it looks like without even creating an account. So I'll say male, eye color, sure. The white ones are the ones I can choose. These kind of grayed out bluish ones, I think, I'm colorblind, are the ones that I can't use. You'll see hats, etc., etc. Nice headphones. I don't have any hair. Lovely. And each thing has a color option down here. Go through and color everything. Now, you don't even need to save your DoppelMe if you don't want to. I can actually just right-click on this guy over here and save image as. I'll say view image, and it shows you exactly what it's going to be saving. Save image as. There's my avatar. Let's put it on the desktop. Done. So again, another quick and easy way to create a simple little avatar for your students. Also like that one. Now, just so you know, a fun little activity I do with my students is I actually make the avatar creation a quest. And so they get an option. I'll give them, 2 or 3 of these and say, check all 3 of these out, try them out, pick the one that you like, and make your avatar. Maybe a couple other little requirements, but they like the options of choice. And if you give them, 3 to 5 choices, that's about the right amount. Anything more than that is too much. It's overwhelming. The Me Creator. This is my new favorite one. Okay, if you're familiar with the Nintendo Wii, this is the web-based version of where you make your me, your M-I-I me, exactly, as far as I can tell, exactly the same as the Wii version. I like the random button, and then we go through and edit that one. That's good enough. What I really like about this one is the export options. Garlic. Eat. This little save disk looks like a floppy disk. When you hit that, you want to hit export, and you can. The resolution is basically the size in pixels at roughly 72 pixels per inch. The zoom is how it's going to frame up your poster or your JPEG, I should say. So if you just want a headshot or a full body shot, you can kind of reframe him in the window, which is kind of neat. And then your background. Beautiful. And hit save. Desktop. Garlic. Me. Done. So now if I go look at my desktop, I have just created several different avatars very quickly. But your students will like the ability to completely customize themselves without putting an actual picture of themselves as the avatar. I discourage that when I use 3D Game Lab in my class, just for privacy issues. I talk about not putting your image online, or rather being appropriate in putting your image online, but this is just an exercise in that. So, questions so far? Just kind of jump through several things there. You can put it in the chat window too. I have that open currently. No.
Nothing.
All right. Cool. And I wasn't sure if we'd have time to cover this one, but I'm really flying through these things, so I am going to cover it. Hoplet. If you are an old school 3D game labber, you might remember the Bubbless tutorial that I did. I have some quests about that, and it's one of the videos. Bubbless was my old brainstorming app, where this is where I would plan out my quests, etc., etc. Well, I've since fallen in love with Hoplet, and I'll give you a sneak peek. It's for planning out brainstorm tool, I guess what you'd call it. But spoiler alert, this is my actual planning document I used when I was thinking, okay, I want to make a line of quests about tech integration. Yes, by the way, Sarah Humanitarian asks, for speaking avatars, do you use Voki? Yes, I do use Voki, but your avatar for things like 3D Game Lab don't allow for animation, so they have to be a still. So Voki is a great tool, especially for the role-playing of like historical figures and like the Hunger Games idea I talked about. Voki is awesome. They have a great setup for education. If not, use CMAP. I'll have to look at that after we're done here.
Yeah, CMAP is a link node diagram, and they have it set up so that you can collaborate with a number of people.
Oh, okay.
So there's one more step. You get a little bubble in between the nodes that describes the relationship between them.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to check that one out. Well, with Poplet, you can also share and collaborate with people. You just email them and give them access so they can also edit it. You add little bubbles, you drag these little dots around, create new ones. But this is how I brainstorm to create the hierarchy or quest chain of the tech integration. And I'm a very visual person, so I start with the intro, and that is the key quest, as Chris Haskell calls them, which means it's going to open up a series of other quests. Once you finish this one, the 3 lines attached to that open up. And from there, when you finish that one, that opens up these other quests, etc., etc. So you can, keep it all together and keep your prerequisite options in order when you're making quests. Adding pictures to this, you know what? I don't know. Edit, organize, add. Apparently not. Oh, Flickr. If you count that as adding a picture, looks like you'd have to. You can export the thing as a PDF or JPEG, but it looks like to add images, you'd have to use Flickr. I don't see a way to upload your own images, which that's a good point. That's unfortunate. Does CMAP do that?
Yes, it does.
It does. Okay, sweet. Well, we will have to definitely take a look at that. Questions. Wow, we really blew through that.
So talk to me a little bit about Screencast-O-Matic. I've been using Camtasia.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to re-register because whoa. Not what I wanted. I've used Camtasia before. It's been a few years because Camtasia is not free.
Yeah, it's quite pricey.
Yes. Okay. And I am very simple with my tutorials. I talk through them. I don't go through and add in all the extra text and arrows and helper information. I just record it and throw it online. It may be not always quite as pretty, but it sure works. Found existing recording. Delete. Okay, so this is what it looks like for Screencast-O-Matic. You can resize this little window. Let's say I'm going to do a little thing on my desktop here. Grab the corners here. Record. Gives you a little 3, 2, 1. Hi, this is Mark Suter, and this is how you create a new folder, and we're going to call it Garlic. Thank you for participating. Oh, there's already one called that. That's unfortunate. I'll just leave it called New Folder and call it Garlic 2. Lovely. Thanks for playing. Done. Now, your options after you're done. You can publish it directly to YouTube. You just tie your account together. I will usually publish a video file. I like to keep a local copy of all of my tutorials so that if I find a video sharing website I really like, I have all of those files that I can slap them up there. So I usually do that. Published a video file. I use the MP4 QuickTime. It's pretty universal. It works on Windows and Mac. I always go HD size because you can always go smaller. You can't stretch video larger without it looking pixelated and junky. I skip all these options and hit Save Video. Test-O-Matic, desktop, save. And that's really it. Does that help? Screener, yes, that was the one I had demoed before. Thank you, Sarah. I couldn't remember what it was. 5-minute limit, I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah, I'll go back to the, while that's saving video. On the home page of Screencast-O-Matic, it gives you a breakdown of the difference. This has a max record time of 15 minutes, which is much better than Screener's 5, of course. Although you shouldn't probably use all 15 minutes because your students or whoever's watching it will get bored. But it does everything I need. 15 minutes, HD, export to MP4. The watermark, I'll open up the exported file here. You can find it there. It is Test-O-Matic. Hi, there's the watermark down in the bottom left. Very small. Of course, it's free, so it's kind of hard to complain, but
Mark Suter,
the audio is good, the video is really good, and I really have no complaints about it. So I am a Screencast-O-Matic convert. Problems with space if you have several photo and video files. I save stuff on our school server drive, but I also have an external hard drive, which is in my desk over there. But I just get a 1 terabyte external USB hard drive and always throw stuff on there as a backup. Is that what you mean by space? Yeah. Yeah, they can get a little large. That was, what, a 10-second video, and the file size, well, it's under a meg. For that kind of quality, that's actually really good. I can see if I
Mark Suter.
Pause it here. Everything's legible. You can turn off this little halo around your mouse cursor if you want, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember where. I'm pretty sure you can, though. So for that quality, you should be okay there. Does that help, Leanne, Ariana? Okay. See, what I do with all my videos, I put them up on SchoolTube.com because it's pretty foolproof for not being blocked at people's schools. Love YouTube, except it's always blocked. It's blocked here at my school. Nobody can get to it, including the students. So I take everything and throw it up on SchoolTube. That way I don't have to worry about the space that you were asking about. I keep a local copy for myself, but I put everything on SchoolTube so that I don't have to worry about taking up space or losing it or whatever. So yeah, they can see my other recordings and tutorials and my students' videos on there. As far as I know, there's no size limit as far as cumulative size limit on SchoolTube per video. I think there's a gig or so, plenty large. Other questions? Even about other productivity tools, other tools in the tech tools compiled by Garlic, which is linked in the events calendar.
So would there be a similar tutorial to this somewhere posted for all the other links?
You know what? I don't have one made for it, but that's a good idea. Although, I ask you this, how do I screen capture me screen capturing the screen capture tool? I mean? Ooh. Hi, Steve. Welcome. I think you could do it. You might actually need to use like Screener to record your Screencast-O-Matic, or vice versa. No, that's right. But no, that's a good idea. There should be a quest for that. That'd be a good Academy quest, wouldn't it? Because I think a lot of creating the quests for me has been taking the screen. I have all these ideas, but the implementation always, well, initially took too long. But now I've sped up my flow so I can take really fast screenshots. My workflow like this, Screencast-O-Matic, taking a screencast and putting it on SchoolTube, is a matter of a couple of minutes now. Secure email address for middle school students. Mention Gaggle for Google Docs. Most email certain project. Yes. Tammy, Lost Ladybug. Yes, I actually use Gaggle, and I don't remember if it was me who made the recommendation or not, but they have a paid and a free version. They don't make it very clear, but if you sign up and email them or call them or whatever, they make you go through a web-based training thing that takes like a half hour, but man, it is very worth it. You get to control every single kid's email address. It's very powerful. It even has a screened version of YouTube that you can turn on and off. You can turn all these features on and off, email, everything. I actually, even over the summer, I will get notifications if the kids email each other or use like this. It looks like a little Facebook wall. Again, all secure and sandboxed, so it's just your account. I get email notifications when the system recognizes something as potentially violating, dirty words, even image recognition, etc. And it'll let me know in my other email account that something's going on and I need to go check it out. So Gaggle is my favorite. It's free. I have, I think, like 50 or 60 students in it right now. I'm talking about Gaggle.net. You know what? I signed all them up a little over a year and a half ago. Can you use this email contact with? Yes. I'm not sure what the Gmail address question is, but if it's the email to sign up for other accounts, yes, and that's actually the major reason I use that. I haven't got our school to go to the Google Apps for Education, so the kids don't have email. Well, this is my way around that, of giving the younger students an email address that is fully secure and I can monitor it, but they use that email address to sign up for Poplet and Voki and all these other tools that I have them do. Many of them require a email verification, right? You go to the email, click the link that's in there, and boom, you're off and running in that tool. So there's somebody had said in the forum that they want to find tools that don't require an email address. Well, some of the best tools out there require some sort of email address. Another trick that you can actually do, though, is if you have a Gmail address like johnsmith@gmail.com, did you know that if you add the plus symbol in there and say, let's say +1@gmail.com. So let's say I'm signing up an account and I put in this email. And then for the second student, I might put in johnsmith+2@gmail.com. My email, johnsmith@gmail.com, will receive all of these emails. Basically, Gmail will ignore the plus and whatever you put. So it's kind of a sneaky way. If you Google Gmail address trick or something like that, it's kind of the underground trick for registering multiple students on things, which I've used before and works really well. I've tested this. It does work. Yes, Steve, thank you. Verification, I'm not crazy. You could say John Smith plus, and this is another trick. Yes, Tammy, I can repeat. If I want to know, okay, where's this email coming from, I could say John Smith plus, and then Voki 1, or Voki Jeff B. Well, I should have had it at gmail.com after that. When I get an email at johnsmith@gmail.com, I know exactly who sent that or where that came from because I sent a little code in there, the plus Voki_Jeff_B@gmail.com, and that way I know where it's coming from. That way later on, if I don't want to receive email from there anymore, you can say or block all messages from this email account, or from this email, or to this email address, I should say. I think I said that right. Proof. Gmail plus trick. One awesome Gmail tip you didn't know about, seriously. Yeah, this is it. He gives all kinds of variations you can use. But if you just Google a Gmail trick, most of them are talking about this trick. So Gaggle is a good option if you actually want to give them an email address, which I think is a good idea as far as being a responsible user of the internet. There are lessons to be learned. Even when they screw up and they use it inappropriately, that itself is a great teaching moment. And I had that opportunity, yay, last year. Oh, Dana, you can add an image from computer in Poplet. Thank you. Learn us.
So if you just go up to one of your little poplet bubbles, then the little things that appear to change the font or whatever, there's an image one here on the right.
Oh, you're right. Thank you. The little mountain thing. Upload things. I like your terminology. Computer. Sure enough, there it is. Hero. Oh, anyways. Awesome. Thank you. Other questions? Just so everybody knows, on Thursday we're going to be looking at real collaboration tools, specifically things not related to Google Docs. If you've already looked at the event calendar, which I should have bookmarked and I don't, events, real collaboration. Microsoft SkyDrive, if you've never used that, think of Google Docs, except it's made by Microsoft. Online versions of Excel, Word, and PowerPoint. Primary Pad, if you just need the collaborative like text editing space, but you don't want to create accounts, you don't have to deal with any of that. That is a tool where you can just give out the URL, which is unique, and to your students and get them there, and they will all work together. They can name themselves in the window, et cetera, et cetera. And live binders, these have quests associated with them, of course, except for the Prezi one, not in this teacher camp anyways. Simultaneous editing in Prezi, most of you are probably familiar with that anyways, with Prezi at least, but it's kind of fun to do simultaneous editing in there, kind of like a Google Doc, except in Prezi. The idea with the web diagram pop-up.
The things that you've already done in other teacher camps, can we get to those somehow?
Yes. If you look at the event for tonight on the calendar, I'll show it on my screen real quick. Steve, I see your question. I'll answer that shortly. I have a link. The complete list of tech tools from packs 1 through 7 is here. That's just a public Google Doc that I'm just the editor on. And all these links at the top, the Adobe Connect video, I used to do these all in Adobe Connect instead of GoToMeeting. Those are all the recordings of all those tools. So these are the recordings at the top. These are the list of the tools that I'm going over. Just like tonight where okay, pack number 1, I talked about Google Docs and what it is, blah, blah, blah. Picnic, which is actually gone now. I should probably delete that. And I go through those. So if you just want to go through the list, it's there. If you want to watch the video of me demoing them, that's also there.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the little avatars while you're sharing Prezi, they look like little me's kind of type people jumping around the screen. They're hilarious. Steve, as far as planning out your quests in the Poplet, here we are. This is what I use when I am thinking, okay, I need to plan out a list of quests to get students from brand new to this idea to being an expert at it. How am I going to get them there? This is how each one of these little bubbles represents one quest. And I actually color code these based on a couple of things. One is, have I actually added that quest to 3D Game Lab? I kind of lost my color coding along the way here, but that's what I originally started doing. So if I haven't done it yet, it might be this color. And if I have, it might be this color. So this is, and I know Lisa does this exact same thing of using Poplet to plan out all of your quests. You know, what is going to be the master key quest of real collaboration, or to get to all these quests. To get to the anymeeting.com quest, you have to complete the intro, then the real collaboration, and then you can get to that. It's a visual way of looking at that, which when you get let's say you do an entire curriculum, which I believe is going to be the future of 3D Game Lab, is there will be entire curriculums. This Poplet or some other tool, they're actually creating a tool to do this automatically, but that will be a massive list. If you've ever looked at the Khan Academy, which is next Tuesday's topic, the Khan Academy knowledge map, incredible. I didn't do that right. It's actually a Google Map powered tool. There. Here's the knowledge map on Khan Academy, powered by Google Maps. A similar idea, actually, to what we're doing with, or to what I do with the Poplet, except theirs is much more in depth. If you create, anyways, we'll look at this next week. It's color coded for how you did in addition and subtraction, etc., etc. But that's kind of where I got the idea, anyways. There we go. Yes, Poplet is free. Yes, blocking out or planning out the rewards can get a little tricky. One thing you could do for that is attach to this. Maybe rewards are a bright yellow. So if I attach to this, and I don't know if this is really yellow or but something reward. You would know by looking at this map that, well, if you complete this quest, you get this reward. And it's not perfect, but it's one way to try and track that, your reward systems as well. I know Lisa and Chris are developing this more in depth. They're actually making a proprietary tool for doing exactly this. But until that's ready, Poplet's a really good option. Auto train. Yes, the prerequisites. Actually, you want to see what the other side of the coin looks like, Steve? I'll show you what it looks like when you create a quest in 3D Game Lab. I don't know if we're supposed to or not, but you guys will be quest creators anyway, so I don't think it's a secret or anything. I'm on a different computer at school here, so everything's a little bit different. I don't have any of my bookmarks. So here's my tech integration strand. Here's the quest builder button. This is, whatever, quest name. Available date. That allows you to, let's say I don't want you to be able to get to this until November 1st. Well, you can put that in exactly there. And I want it to expire at the end of the school year. You can put that in there. I leave it as today is the available, and I leave the other one blank. Short description is what they see in the long quest list if they're just clicking through and looking at quests. The quest details is what they see when they actually open up the quest. Blah, blah. You can add images here, browse, upload, etc., which is a new feature. I like that. Then the submission details when they go to complete the quest. What do they see? Tags, I always put in suitor and garlic for mine. That way, if anybody's ever looking for one of my quests to clone over, which I'll show you shortly, they have the ability, they can just search garlic, which I think is basically unique enough of a term that all of my quests will show up. Experience points. By the way, I track all of my experience point stuff. I do this 2 steps I actually do. Put it up in here. First thing I do is I do the Poplet visual. Second thing I do is a Google Doc, XP planning, rewards, ranks, etc. You know what? I don't care. I'll show you that too. I'm gonna have to sign in though. I'll show you exactly what I use for that as well, which seems to work pretty well. Yay, Google Docs. So this is the second thing I do, which is a little more in depth. This isn't quite correct, but Lisa and Chris provided this. It adds up things for you so you know how many XP you have available, etc., etc. These are my quests, color-coded by category, estimated time, XP, so you can kind of plan for that. The rewards list, ranks, and what XP you have to achieve that rank. And then here's my GoToMeetings where I cheat sheet all my own URLs, which is another good thing to do, actually. I hope no one minds that I'm showing you guys this, but so that's the order that I do, is the Poplet visual, and then the Google Doc to really plan out the meat of it so that it comes out right. The tags, experience points, category, that's if there's, well, you can create your own categories too, so War of 1812 might be a category for whatever reason. Prerequisites, which is a roundabout way of getting to your question. You can say add prerequisite, and there's a lot of cool things you can do. You can say they have to have completed certain quests. Well, I could say, well, that quest, add prerequisite quest, and web-based screen recording. Yeah, I do have a quest for that. So once they've completed both of these, all of these have to be true and completed, then and only then will they get this quest. So you can combine prerequisites, and all of them have to be true in order for them to get there. A certain rank, so once they are the king rank or queen rank, then they unlock the elite quests, the cool quests that let you go do such and such. And it starts getting so in-depth. That's why Poplet is, for me anyways, a must as far as planning, because I get lost in, okay, what was the prerequisites for this? Reward, if they have earned the firefighter blacksmith reward and completed these quests, then they can do that. They are actually adding, Chris was saying the other day, they're adding the options to do more in-depth prerequisites other than just these. These alone are pretty powerful, but they're adding more. And I always check the hide quest until prereqs are met. That way they're not bombed by 30 quests when they first get into the program, right? They only open up as they get there. Set standards. They're actually also, I'm told, adding, hey look, there's Iowa Core. They're adding all the states' core standards, et cetera, et cetera. Then your quest icon. I always use a website like, I think it's Find Icons. Find Icons. I think it's a website like that. Yeah, findicons.com. And similar ones. Math. Sweet. And check the user usage rates on these, but I'm pretty sure most of these are good to go. So, hey look, a PNG of a calculator. Save. I have a massive folder now of my favorite icons. While I'm building one quest, I'll go find icons for 10 more quests. They just give you some demo ones there. So, long answer to your question, yes, it's pretty easy to add the prerequisites. They only open after the previous is complete. Yeah, it gets a little tricky for the planning part, but again, that's why the Poplet and the Google Doc are essential. If you ever have quests open as a result of a certain number of XP achieved, yes. You know what? I thought XP was on here. A way you can do that XP one is by creating a rank that let's say, in answer to your question, if you say, well, you need 500 XP to get to that quest, well, you set it to teacher rank. They have to have the rank of teacher in order to get to that quest. So you have to be an ingenious teacher, master of tech tools. Remove, remove, remove. So that's a roundabout way of doing it. Use things for the badges there as well. I build some of my badges. I'm a Photoshop hobbyist, so it's kind of fun for me. But there are, I use, yeah, more or less, yes. I use the free icons as the images for the badges as well. Disable stuff acquired. Oh. More icons than you'll ever use. Yes, exactly. Oh, yeah, you're right. There is an XP option. Duh. Just above the drop down. Decorate the badge, or does the icon show up in a badge like shell? Decorate the badge. Oh, well, I need to find the required experience points. Duh. Wow. So yes, there's a field for experience points. I always look for the letters XP, and if it spells out experience points, I apparently look over it. The reward builder. Actually, before I get to the reward builder, I want to show you guys the sneak peek into an answer of Steve's question. The quest armory. I said earlier that I tag my quests with Suitor and Garlic. That's because when you create quests, you will have access to the quest armory, which is every quest ever created with 3D Game Lab. Again, they are revamping this. This keeps changing all the time. But basically, if you go in here and search for Garlic, let's say you want to use one of my quests, which I encourage, that's awesome. I have an open policy on that. It's Creative Commons, whatever. Here's all my quests that I've created, and because I tagged them all, including the ones such as iPad, Dropbox photo transfer. These are ones that my 6th grade students did this year. You can click on that and say, hey, I want to check that out, view details if you want. Watch the video and read over the blah, 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 blah. Again, there's SchoolTube, which I use iframes to embed. If you're not sure how to do that, look at the HTML of this. It'll give you a hint. Anyways, you can clone that quest, and it'll go right into your list of quests. Oh, geez, I just went back too far. Garlic. Well, some of these are old, but they're still good. Oldie but a goodie. There. You would hit the clone button, and it will go right into your category that you, of course, created for your students. One of the features they're going to add is, let's say I do an entire 6th grade computer tech class with 100 quests that took me 1,000 hours to make or whatever. You would be able to say, I want that entire course full of quests, and spit it into your thing, which is just fine with me. I encourage that. I don't feel like you're stealing anything. At the bottom of every time you create a quest, you'll notice there's a license, and you have some options in there. And I never, ever choose private. I'm not sure why you would unless you plan on selling it. If you do some work, let some other people in on the fun. So I always choose, I think they're all attribution. So that's how you clone quests over. Your question about the icons for badges in the reward builder here, which is kind of like the quest builder, social helper, or whatever. Award type, they need an infographic here, but awards are manually done. Achievements and badges, I think, are system done. Do they get bonus XP, blah, 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 blah. Auto reward criteria. This is where the rewards get really powerful. As soon as they get to a certain rank, they've rated so many quests, this stuff. Let's say you combine and say, in 5 days, you completed 8 quests. So if both of these are true, within 8 days they complete, or 5 days they complete 8 quests, they would get this reward, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Geez, I'm behind. Searchable by creator if you put your name as a tag. And Sarah, they're searchable by anything that you put in as a tag. That's the whole purpose of when you're creating quests. That field near the here, tags for search purposes. That's not Google searches. That's for the quest armory search. So I would put in Suitor, Garlic. Oops, caps lock does not need to be on. Garlic, whatever, iPad, whatever. So if somebody searches for iPad, mine will also show up. Within us, iPad. It's a loaded question, Dan. There's a big answer to that. Is it worth it? I like my laptop, but I think that's an answer for another time. I love iPads. This is going to sound terrible, but I would use the school's money to buy one for school, but I personally wouldn't buy one for myself. just my opinion. That's one person's opinion, so don't weigh that too heavily. Authors select to share quests or not. Are they creative commons? Authors select to share quests. Grid, I think I know your question is like, if I understand your question right, I think I answered that one with the license options. Yeah, you can't do Android apps on iPad. A lot of them are interchangeable. They'll have an Android and an iPad app, but not all of them. Map features you can put down the classroom. Okay, this is going to look slide in. I wasn't planning on this, but we are completely spoiled because we have one of these giant carts of iPads. Really heavy. If you're going to get an iPad cart, if that's kind of the next question, you'll want a Mac with it. We don't have a Mac here, and we have update issues. I have to update 30 iPads by hand, one at a time, instead of just plugging in the master cable. I don't want to talk too much about this, but no, there are no apps that I could not live without. It's all convenience. Split. See, I also have a lab full of computers that I can do a lot of things that the app would have done. So if I don't have a computer lab access, yeah, there might be apps that I wouldn't be able to live without that I love having my students have access to, such as Dropbox. And I have a quest for that. So if you want to know how to use Dropbox to get any file from your iPad, your school iPad, your personal iPad for that matter, to any computer, you want to do that quest. It's awesome. Search for it in the Armory. Sarah, my recommendation is pick something unique and put your name in the tag somewhere. For your own use. See, I can't even find some of my old quests sometimes if I don't put the tag on it, because I might be teaching a new 6th grade class and I want to only add certain quests. Well, I need to look at the entire list, and that's the only way I know how to look at all of the quests I've created for, teacher camp, my own students, and any other purposes. A cumulative entire list of all of them. That's the only way I know how to do it, is to tag them all. Cheap Android the new Kindle Fire is going to have a camera on it. So if you're looking for a cheap Android one, that's probably by year's end going to be a good bet. Oh, Steve, if you can get a hold of a Mac Mini, they're about $500. You will. Apple actually released software specifically for controlling lots of devices, like 30 or 50 or something. I forget what it's called, but if you look up iPad management software or something, there's a free one from Apple, but of course you have to have a Mac to run it. But yeah, I have issues with the PC, and it's a 9 gig Windows 7 64-bit, all the bells and whistles, and I can't even update 30 iPads to the new iOS 5. Yeah, there's a ton of good apps for iPad. We can talk about that all day. Sorry, Melissa. I have a dream job. As you can see from my wall decorations, we've been creating a whole bunch of characters and such. So we create little Mario people. We cut them out, laminate them, and go to the little guys. So the whole room is going to be a giant Mario level. There's actually kids that are asking to come in the summertime to work on them. So yeah, I'm totally a nut. I don't know, some analogy for an animal being happy. Love it. Nexus 7 I heard is really awesome. The apps for 3D game won't be compatible with iPad. If I understand your question, Tammy, I've used 3D Game Lab on the iPad quite a bit, and everything seemed to work, but if that's not your question, that doesn't help. Yeah, Steve, I talked to, all my nerdy friends, and that was their best suggestion, because that's the cheapest way to get on, OS X Lion or any of the new ones, Snow Leopard, whatever, and be able to get that management tool. you know, you get an iMac, you're looking at $1,200 or something. I think I saw. Remember that happened? Yeah, the app buildings for Android. That Strand. MIT took over App Inventor, which is awesome. What a great discussion we're having. If anybody's interested, I'll show you real quick the Group Manager tool. Once you're an administrator of your own quests, if you have a teacher aide, you could go into the list of your people, and you could actually allow them to be a quest approver. So if you have, basically they're going to grade your papers, is a way of saying it. Awesome little feature there. The reports is so powerful. I'm not super into numbers or statistics, but it's awesome because you can sort by rating and figure out, okay, why is this quest being rated so low? Or why are so many people dropping this quest? You can click on any of these things and see what the average completion times are. I don't know what the difference between average time and completion time are, but you know, look at your 5-star ratings and see why they're so high, or look at the low ones and see why they're so low. You'll figure out what your students respond well to and adjust your quest to match that. You can sort who is the top and the bottom. So if I go to total XP, and awesome, Kimmy did awesome. Look how many XP she has. Next time Kimmy walks in my door, I'm going to say, hey, Kimmy, come here. I need you to help out today. I'm going to give you a reward or a badge for this called the Helper Award or whatever you creatively name it. But I take my top performers and I have them help the kids that are struggling. And I have a particular student who is on IEP, and he won't respond to anybody's motivation tactics in any of the classes. And I kind of had a little breakthrough this year, and he, for some reason, loves 3D Game Lab. And I think it has to do with the fact that I have other students willingly approach him and say, hey, can I help you with this? And then they sit down beside him, and there you are, Sarah. The social aspect is a big part of it, and so you take your top performers and let them help the other ones. It also helps tighten up that gap of, you know, some kids are way down the quest chain line, and some of the kids are on quest number 2. Yeah, it helps tighten that gap up a little bit, which is helpful, especially when you want to teach new content and some of the kids won't reach that content for another month because they're so far behind. You need to tighten that gap and have ways to do that. Lots and lots and lots of stuff. How many members there are? We have 72 members. Group wins, which means how many people got the XP you defined as the winning number of XP, 1,000 XP, I think it was, or something like that, et cetera, et cetera. So the reports are awesome, powerful. Use those once you are using 3D Game Lab to your advantage. Any other questions? There's all kinds of great stuff in here. I can talk about this all day because it's really fun. Bonnie, you're here. I bet you had the time zone. Next. Student teacher ranking was thrilled. Lots of blessings from your Sweet.
There are 9 other callers on the call.
Any other questions? I'm going to stop the recording.